Hey guys, today I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. I'll probably get out and ride the motorcycle in a few minutes, but I'm working on a how-to series, and today's video is going to show us how to set up a Spotwalla account so that you can use Spotwalla to track your trips. I'm doing this in particular because I'm going to go ride an iron butt ride at the end of the month, and I want to use Spotwalla to track my mileage, my fuel stops, and some other things like that. So a little history about Spotwalla. It's been around actually since about 2008, and up until the 1st of February this year, it was a free service. But I guess times have come along and now it's going to be a paid for service. It was funded by donations and things like that, and they're able to keep it up. But really, now that it's become a paid for service, the fees are really nominal. We're talking about pennies. And if you go to Spotwalla, you can look at their newsletter series, and the newsletters will tell you exactly, it kind of breaks down the charges, but it's very, very nominal. The cool thing about this is if you're using Spotwalla to store your trips or to track your trip for an Iron Butt Association ride, or if you are have a charity and you need to keep track of your participants, you can go in and click some coupons in there, and there is no fee and no cost whatsoever to use Spotwalla for that. Spotwalla is good for tracking devices, GPS tracking devices like Garmin InReach and the SWTracker. But if you don't have either of those, or if you don't want to incur the expense of buying either of those, which I don't right now, if you have an iOS device, an Apple device like this, you can download the SWTracker right to your phone and use that, and it will become the tracker that gives the data to Spotwalla. Or if you have an Android device, you can download the Bubbler tracker device for Androids and use your Android device, and it's going to work just fine as long as you're within a cell range. So unless you're going to a remote area to track for your ride, you know, if you're going to Alaska, you probably want one of the GPS trackers like the Garmin InReach or the SWTracker. If you're going out remote areas of the desert Southwest where you're going to be out of cell range for a long period of time, having one of those kind of trackers in those remote areas is great because it gives you satellite communication. So if you have a problem, you can send out an emergency beacon and get help to come help you right then. But these rides I'm doing right now, I'm going to be in an area of the cell tower, so I don't need to spend another $150, $200 or upwards of that to get an actual tracker when my phone's going to be with me anyhow. So let's get into it, and let me show you how to actually get to the Spotwalla. So let's look at the computer. You want to open up your browser. So I'm using Google Chrome, and we're going to search for Spotwalla. Once you get into Spotwalla, we'll go to Spotwalla Home. So this is the first thing you want to see, and there's information in here you can read about all of these things: pricing, viewing, statements. You can read all about Spotwalla before you actually sign up an account. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up for an account. It costs you to store storage files for maps and that kind of thing, and then it costs you when you use a device to send information to be stored. Like I said, it's pennies, literally pennies. And they gave me $2 to start off with, so I didn't have to add any money on there, but I added $5 on it, and it's working just fine, and I haven't spent hardly anything. I've only had it a couple of days. Anyways, when you get to this, to create your account, you can go down here to register. Click on register, and that'll take you where you have to provide your email, create a password, and then you've got an account, and they'll verify all of that stuff with you through the process. And once you get that, you get a login. So I want to log in because I already have it. So I've got my email, I've got my password, boom, login. So literally I've spent about 8 cents into this thing since I started using it. So 8 or 9 cents a day. It's not bad. And if you don't keep files stored on here, then there's no charge when there's no files stored on here. All right, so I want to show you how to create a ride in here. So once you get your account, this is what you'll come up to, and you can import your device. You do that over here with the device manager. I've already got my iPhone in here. And I have 40 messages from the iPhone. So when I was out earlier, this just shows me all the tracking and shows you the messages that it did from there. Anyways, go back home. You can do track, which will actually plot your every second move. It'll show you exactly where you traveled on the roads and that kind of thing. Or you can do trips. And then what the trips does, you can select on the Spotwalla here, on the app, the SWTracker, it'll track, and I can tell it how fast I want it to track every 5 minutes, every 7 minutes, every 10 minutes. Right now I've got it tracking me every 5 minutes. It'll update my location with a plot on the map every 5 minutes. Pretty cool. So let me go back in and show you how to create a new trip. So when you go to build your trip, it'll come in here and you select the date, the time that you want it to track you from. So I'm working in the morning till about 11 o'clock. So I want to start tracking my trip tomorrow from 11, and I hope to be done by 5 o'clock. And once I get through riding, if those times have changed, I can come in and amend it, and it will only show me the plots and the track between the times that I put in here under the start time and the finish time. You have to select your time zones. So if you click on there, they've got all these different time zones. I live in the same time zone, Eastern Standard Time, as New York. And then it's going to combine my tracks into a single track. So if I were using my phone and a spot device both, it would take those and merge the plots into a single track. So that's my ride, testing the ride with the Spotwalla. And now, when I ride tomorrow, I'm going to be able to track my moves. So I did a test today. I went to a friend's birthday party a few minutes ago, and I actually did a map. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'm still figuring this out, but the star is where I started. I drove, I was in the car over here for a party. I was actually able to take a picture when I got to the party, and you can put a note in there, a message when you send it that says what you're doing. I did a custom message that said I was at a party, and then this is when I left to go, and I was there for about 2.5 hours. So using Spotwalla, when you do your iron butt ride, there are certain things you have to do, and I made some notes here so I wouldn't mess up on that. So let me refer to my notes. So when you do an iron butt ride, they've got certain steps they want you to follow. First step being choose a safe route. So it needs to be at least 1,000 miles if you're doing the Saddle Soar 1000, which that's what we're going to do at the end of the month. If your speedometer hasn't been calibrated, don't rely on that for your mileage. You need to build the route in Google Maps, and it will give you a more accurate mileage. You need to make sure that when you submit it, you've gone over 1,000 miles, or you do it all for naught. So if you wind up 997 miles, 999 miles, you're not going to get that ride certified. So you have to document all your fuel stops with timed fuel receipts. So the second step in there is to collect a photograph and a fuel receipt at each stop. So basically they want you to take your fuel receipt and put it down beside of your odometer, take a picture. So with the Spotwalla, the picture like I just showed you I took, and I'll do this tomorrow, you can take a picture of that and save it with the Spotwalla. It'll be in your map where that stop was at. So I can click a message that says gas stop. Boom, here's my fuel receipt, and it's built right into the map that I'm going to create. And it also saves it to my phone so that when I get home and I'm getting all this stuff ready electronically to send in for my iron butt, I'll have that documentation ready to go because I've saved those receipts got the paper copies and I've got the electronic copies on my phone where I took the picture. So your receipts have to include the date, the time zone, and the odometer reading. So when you log your fuel stops in that log on there, you have to put your date, the time zone you were in at the time of the receipt, and your location at like Charlotte, North Carolina, and your odometer reading on the motorcycle, not your trip meter, but the odometer for the motorcycle. Take a picture of that and log it on your log for the ride. If you are going to stop for longer than 30 minutes, you must log that and put why you were there for more than 30 minutes. And if you guys have some extreme range gas tank, if you can for whatever reason go over 350 miles, you must log a stop and have a dated time stamped receipt at least every 350 miles. So there's those steps. And then you get home after the ride's over with, you need to prepare, copy, and submit your documentation. So you can take a paper map if you want to and kind of highlight the route that you took. You don't have to do all the little individual streets, but go to each city that you rode and submit that. They will create that same route in Google Maps and give you the mileage credit for what that is. You can go into Google Maps yourself if you're going to submit it electronically and build that map, and then submit a link to that map to Iron Butt Association when you submit it electronically, and they'll have exactly what your route was. So what I will do when I submit it, I want to submit a link to my Spotwalla, and I want to submit a link to a Google map that I'm going to create for my Iron Butt. You need to send a copy of your receipts, you need to send a copy of your log, and you need to hold on to the originals yourself. That way if something gets lost or gets misplaced along the way, you can still submit that stuff later on. So send the copies, and then like I said, you can send them electronically and it'll get back a lot quicker. If you send it snail mail, it's going to take, either way, it's going to take probably a couple of months to get it back. So that's the steps. So anyways, that's a long story, but I'm going to go on a ride tomorrow. I'm going to record it on the Spotwalla, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like in the map here. And if it works right, I'm going to put a link into the description of this video where you can actually go and look at the ride that I do tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see how this works. Getting fuel here and trying to take a picture so I can document it. I'm on my way to meet up some friends for this ride today. I had two groups of friends riding today, but one were leaving way earlier than I was, and this is the only group I could catch up with, so I want to catch up with these guys, I hope. Now this is where I have to remember to say yes, because I typically don't get a receipt. But I have to get a receipt for this. I was running a little low on fuel. How much I can put in here. I wish Harley made these tanks where they vented better. He did not print me a receipt out at the pump, which is the problem you're going to have from time to time, so I got to go inside to get a receipt. Pump I had. All right, got my receipt. So let's see what I need to see in that picture. I can see my mileage, 29,055. I can see the 11:09 and 42 a.m. This is East Coast. This is Indianapolis, North Carolina. So I think that'll work for a receipt. Now, let me go over here, go to my tracker, and let's do a custom message. Let's see here. Got the main screen, custom message, gas stop. I'll send that. Then I'll do a custom message, and I will take my camera, photo source my library, the last picture I took. That's the one I want to send. Boom. We'll see if that works. I'm going to show you how to open up your SWTracker and what the functions are inside of there. So I've got a Spotwalla connection. I'm tracking, this little flashing light, and the internet's available. So if you click on the application setup, the first heading up there, it will show you everything that's going on. The biggest thing is down at the bottom, you can change how often it updates to your map. So right now I've got it every 5 minutes, but you can change that by sliding the little bar at the bottom all the way up to every 10 minutes if you like. So currently I'm going to leave mine at every 5 minutes. It will actually update my location in the track and in the trip that I'm doing. And pretty much other than that, it's showing everything that you got. I can do a current track overlay if I start tracking myself in Spotwalla. All right, I'm going to return to the main screen here. So once I get to a gas stop, what I want to do in Spotwalla is open up the app here and click on custom message. If you see up at the very top there, you can actually type in a custom message if you want to and send that, type whatever you want. I'm fine, here I am, location. But they have things in here. You're stopping for food, you can click on that. You're stopping for the ride at a hotel, you can click on that. For me, I have stopped for gas in this particular video, so I clicked on gas. And then at the bottom, once you highlight gas stop, click send, and now that's sent off to Spotwalla to show that I stopped for gas at that time. It gives it a timestamp in that map, and I'll show you how that looks in just a minute when we review what I did today. Second thing you want to do to make sure you capture your odometer and your gas receipt, you're going to keep those gas receipts and send them with your log, but you're also going to need to take a photo with the odometer and the gas receipt in the same frame. So I've already done that. So you can either go down here and give the app access to your camera if you want to do it on the fly, or take the picture and go in and click your library and select the photo that you want to upload. So there it is. That's my gas receipt. It shows the timestamp, the location, everything to the right, and then you can see my mileage on my odometer to the left in the photo. And then I'm going to press send and send that. And now it will timestamp where I got gas and when I got gas and have a photo representation of the receipt with a timestamp on it as well. And those are things that IBA wants us to do. Okay, guys, let's get back to the video. All right, guys, I actually already have ridden my ride, but I want to come in here real quick and show you what I did with that gas stop and how I put it in the Spotwalla and how it looks. I want to come down to my test ride using Spotwalla right here. So you can see this is my entire ride. And I'm going to zoom in here. You can see the little icons that it puts. It puts that I got fuel, and if you click on that, it's going to tell you with some data here. Yeah, so here's the date, February 12th. At 11:13, I time-stamped gas stop, and it gives you the GPS location coordinates right here. And then down here it says I was getting gas. You can see how much battery I had in my computer or in my phone at the time. So, and then you can add or upload a picture here. But what I did was immediately went back in and made a picture. And if you click on that icon, it brings up my receipt. It shows right here the timestamp. I got gas at 11:09. It shows that I was in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Now in your log, you need to make sure that you put 11:09 and what time zone you were in. I was in the Eastern time zone, so Eastern Standard Time is what this was. And then, or the Eastern time zone, because I don't want to mess up daylight savings and standard time. So put that you're in the Eastern time zone or wherever you were at. And then this shows the date and the timestamp right there. And then you can clearly see my odometer, 29,055 miles in the picture. And so now I've accurately documented what the IBA wanted me to do. So I think this Spotwalla is going to work really well for me. I actually time-stamped a few other things in Spotwalla. You'll see on the ride, I met up with some folks while they were eating breakfast, so I took a picture there and put it in my log just so I'm testing out how the log works. And then we rode through the cemetery in Salisbury, but we didn't stop. And we rode out here to the North Carolina Vietnam's Memorial, and I clicked on that we were sightseeing. That's what these binoculars look like right here, or that's what that is in the map. And then if I click on the picture, I took a picture of the bikes parked right there at the War Memorial. And after we visited that memorial, I needed to get home. Actually, when I did my T-Clocks inspection the other day, I've decided that I probably need tires, and I'm getting closer to 30,000 mile service. So I'm going to have those things done before I go on my iron butt at the end of the month. So I rode back over to Speedway Harley-Davidson, and I put a bonus location in there for Speedway Harley-Davidson. This little map there, that icon there, shows that it's a bonus location. And I believe I could have tapped in Speedway Harley-Davidson, but either way, I took a picture of the bike in front of the shop and took care of that. So that'll do it for the Spotwalla part of the video. I think Spotwalla service is going to work well for me. The SWTracker works really well with the iOS. I'm sure the bubbler tracker works fine, but I haven't had a chance to check that out. Down the road, I believe when I do my 48 and 10 iron butt, where I go to 48 states in 10 days or less, I'm going to go ahead and purchase the Spot GPS device, mainly because I'll be in some remote areas on that ride where I won't have cell service, and then the SWTracker won't work properly out there. And I want the ability to be able to hit a beacon for SOS if something happens and I need emergency assistance. So that being said, that's going to end it for this part of the video. And I'm going to get right into the ride with my friends today. And thank you for following along so long. I hope this was beneficial to you. If it was, put a comment in the video so I know that I did something that maybe helped someone else. I really appreciate you guys following along. And let's get to the rest of the ride. Well, we met up, they had breakfast. I caught them before they got gone. So here's the plan. We're gonna go ride through the National Cemetery here at the VA. They've had different restrictions here since COVID. And the last time these guys were here, they wouldn't let you stop. So we're just gonna ride through. Nobody wanted to stop there today. I'll bring my wife up here some other time and visit her uncle's grave. And then we're gonna ride up to the river to a Vietnam memorial. This basically a miniature wall, I believe, of the Vietnam Memorial. That's the plan for the day, guys. So join me on this ride. That gate was closed. I don't know if we're gonna get in here or not. Okay, we passed one gate that was closed, so I'm not sure we're going to get into the cemetery. I hope we can, but we'll have to wait and see. This is the VA hospital here to the right, the VA Medical Center here in Salisbury. Don't know, there's a man coming out in a vest. He may turn us right around, but we shall see. Have ID ready. Oh, that's for employees. Howdy, howdy. Going through the loading dock to get back here now. Okie dokie. Isn't that a sight, guys? All the people who laid down their life, served our country, that are buried in all of our national cemeteries. thank you all, if you're a veteran, for your service. My wife's Uncle Donnie is interred right there in the wall that's over there in that brick area. So it had his service right underneath that awning right there. And then, like I said, he's in the, I guess, this mausoleum. His remains are buried there. No-bound helicopter up there on top of the hospital. Nice old homes through here. I don't come to Salisbury that often, so I don't know that I've ever been on this road. I guess this is the old country club because there's a golf course on both sides of the road here. I've been watching TikTok and there's one on that goes, people have a lot of money. We don't. And that's how I feel looking at all these houses. Man, they're nice. This next memorial's in a rest stop. And I've been to the rest stop before, but I don't think I've ever walked down to the memorial. So maybe I have. I think I came up here with some guys on Veterans Day a number of years ago, and we went to that memorial. Welcome to Spencer, North Carolina. If you ever come through Spencer, the North Carolina Transportation Museum is here. They got a lot of old trains there. In the Christmas time, they do the Polar Express. You bring your kids here, and they'll ride you over, and you can see Santa Claus and the reindeer, and eat some cookies and drink some hot chocolate. My dad worked for Norfolk Southern Railroad, and they had a big terminal here in Spencer. So he used to ride the main line from Charlotte to Spencer and back. That was his job. That may be the Transportation Museum right there to our right. I believe it is. Yeah, North Carolina Transportation Museum right there. The main entrance is right down here to our right. So like I said, if you ever get a chance, come here and check out the Transportation Museum. That's one way to pick somebody up, just stop in the middle of the road. You wonder why people get run over by cars, cause major accidents. Guys, as a paramedic for 30 years, I saw a lot of bad stuff. And often bad stuff happens when people make poor decisions, like stopping in the middle of the road and picking somebody up. Please, please, please don't do that. Find a safe spot. Crossing over the Yadkin River. There's the Amtrak. Woo, woo, woo. This war memorial is in a rest area, and they built the rest area in the middle of the interstate. So basically the interstate crosses over itself so that both the north and the southbound lanes, people can visit this monument at this rest area. So in a minute we'll go under an overpass, and that is actually the northbound lane of I-85 going over us, and we're in the southbound lanes. And shortly after we go under that overpass, the rest area will be on our right. So like I said, that's northbound I-85 right up there. And it's the North Carolina Vietnam Veteran Memorial in this rest area, and that's what we're going to go to right now. My uncle was a Vietnam veteran. His name was Buddy Marshburn. Curly Marshburn actually is his name, but he went by Buddy, my Uncle Buddy. And one of my mentors is a paramedic. His name was Gaspar Otero. He was a combat medic in Vietnam, and one heck of a medic. Taught me a lot. He taught me that going slow and steady was actually fast. Don't get in a hurry, be slow and methodical, and that's actually fast. May he rest in peace. He died. All right, we made it to the memorial. All right, guys, we're here at the North Carolina Vietnam Veterans Memorial. So this plaque reads the North Carolina Vietnam's Veteran Memorial Park, dedicated to the 216,000 North Carolinians who served and the over 1,600 who were killed or missing in the Vietnam War. It's dedicated Memorial Day, 1991. So on Memorial Day, we're going to do a ride, and this is one of the stops. So today's just a dry run. We rode the route through Salisbury. The sheriff's going to lead us on Memorial Day. Will this be one of the stops where we stop and pay tribute and honor to those that gave the ultimate sacrifice? All the North Carolina servicemen who died in Vietnam. I believe that's all of them are represented on this wall. So as I was saying a moment ago, on Memorial Day, Krista, who's with me here, is putting together a ride for Memorial Day. And right now she's got about 1,000 people, I believe, pre-registered. So the route that we rode today is basically the route that the Sheriff's Department in Salisbury is going to lead us to the National Cemetery, and from the National Cemetery over here to the memorial. All right, guys, I'll catch you a little bit later. Thank you to our veterans, and may God bless our war heroes, everyone who lost their life in the service of our country. God bless our Gold Star families. And yeah.
So when we left the memorial, I said goodbye to these guys. I needed to run by the Harley shop on the way home, and then I needed to get back to the house. They're headed on to check out a little bit more of the route for the Memorial Day ride, and I'll put a link for that ride in the description of this video. It'll take you to the Facebook page, and you can get some information there, and you can sign up. I hope you'll join us for that ride.
Well, I'm back in Lowell, almost back to the house. Been a decent day. Got a few hours of work in this morning. Went riding with some friends, check out a route. Most excited, well, so what I'm really looking forward to is getting inside the house here and checking out how the Spotwalla works and if it's going to do what I want it to do. We'll see, and if so, that'll be in this video. Guys, I really appreciate you following along with me. If you like this type of motorcycle content, like to follow me along on my travels, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit all the notifications so you're aware whenever I put up new content. And give me a like. Like and comment. I read the comments. I try to reply back to them. I've got a couple of people who give me comments every time I put up a video, and it really helps the channel. Every like that I get, every comment that I get help the channel. And if your comments are critical, that's fine, because I'm trying to learn. I want to give you guys worthwhile content. Let me know if this particular video about Spotwalla was beneficial for you. Let me know if you've ever done an iron butt, and if so, which one did you do? And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for following along, and thanks for riding along with me today.